talked to a lot of folks in the last couple of days. If I told you your prospects are on social media and you can find them, I would ask you, how could you not use it? Right? Because if that's the way they want to be communicated with, or that's where they hang out, right? How can we not do it? So why use it? We can get more prospects. We can build our brand. Right? We're talking a little bit about branding in here and how people use it to build their brand. It's just another marketing channel. I'm probably going to say that 10 times. All right? Because we don't want to lose sight of all these other things that we do today. Right? And I'll close with a statement on the right audience and all of that stuff. How to position your company. Down the bottom, credit to @Chris Brogan. Well, actually, it's G-A-N. Sorry about that, Chris. I would call him one of the revolutionary guys that actually keeps moving the social network platform forward. But there's 50 ways marketers can use social media to improve their marketing. Go read that. When you go into your customers, your prospects, and you want to talk a little bit about how you can help them build their brand or do another communication method, you add more value to yourself and you can do that. So by the time we're done, why use social media? It'll help you sell more things. You've probably used this type of slide maybe in your presentations with your customers. Not everybody wants to be communicated in the same way. Personalized, verbal data printing, why do we do that? One-to-one marketing, using multi-channels. Not everybody communicates the same way. My 15 and 13-year-old do not read their USA Hockey magazine. Unless maybe they put their last name, Foley, on the back of the t-shirt, the back page, and they pick up and at least look at that and say, wow, it's pretty cool. They personalize this thing for me. But they do everything they do is on their mobile phone just about, or on Facebook. So if you happen to be working with a customer that communicates, right, that wants to communicate and reach that audience, we really can't send out 5,000 postcards to those students, as an example. There's a combination, right? There's a combination. So this is just a quick slide, what people may use every day, and there's a lot, right? Let's talk a little bit about direct impact on brand. Now these are people that are involved in social media, but how do they feel it impacts brands when people use it? Influence brand reputation, 39%, somewhat effective, very effective. 53% somewhat effective. So I don't have to read the rest of them, you can read them yourselves, but social media can have a good or bad impact on your brand, but you can build it easily here. We'll talk a little bit about that. And it's, it's more than what's for lunch, I already said that once, but it is. You're going to see what everybody's eating for lunch, you might have to see that Paul drove down the street, but the bottom line is, there's more to it than that, and you can share information, we'll talk about that. What do they do? What are these site activities on these sites? What we'll look at today, we'll say there's many social networks, whichever one you choose. We're going to talk about what I think are probably the foremost that can get you started, right? And we might only start with one, everyone, right? So you don't have to grab all four. It's going to be a slow process here, hopefully. But Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. What's the difference? Let's talk about it. Fundamentally, to me, LinkedIn is like a Chamber of Commerce event. How many people have been to a Chamber of Commerce event? Just about everyone, right? And you go in, and we have, some of this, maybe the real estate agent and the insurance agent, and we're shaking hands and we're doing all that stuff. It's professional, right? And we're trying to network in that group. That's kind of what LinkedIn is, and I'll expand upon that, but that's kind of a place to ground it. Facebook, it's like a personal house party. But if I even have a house party and I have people that have businesses in there, and I meet Andrew as an example, and he says, this is what I do when I'm in printing. You know what? There's a network connection there. Even though our kids might not talk to each other, or I might not talk to somebody else in that party. Twitter, I call it a block party, but I'd really like to call it an outrageous party, which is probably what they kept telling us last night when up to dinner. Whatever you do, don't go down to 6th Street. It's like one outrageous party, and there's all different people. They're there. There's a bunch of young people, but think of Twitter as a block party. There are people that come sit at this table that you're just not going to go talk to because maybe they're just not you, and they're talking about something that's not relevant to you. So in Twitter, think of that as a block party. YouTube is like your very own television station. And you can make videos, you can make your own station, and people can come watch, if they choose to, what you're putting up there. All right? Any questions on that so far? You sure? Everybody with me? All right, good. Is it going all right? All right, good. Twitter. Share and discover what's happening right now in 140 characters or less. You might ask yourself, what can I learn from 140 characters or less? It depends on what you put in those 140 characters. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But the question in the box, in the minute you'll see it says, what are you doing? This platform, it's free. It's a way to connect. It's a way to tell what you're doing, follow other people, what they're doing. I sell to service providers, marketing, communication service providers, folks that are transitioning, right? So, print, mail, and fulfillment companies, to be honest. So who do you think I follow? Anyone?
Your customers.
Right. Or my prospects, which is in that target demographic, right? So you got to think the same way. I'm going to show you how you do that simply using Twitter. The pros. I think it's always good you can see some of the pros and the cons. We're going to do this for each particular platform here. It's easy to use. You can reach a wider range of your prospects or customers today in a different way. You can position yourself as a thought leader. Now, I do that a lot. You won't see any, really, on my stuff, talking about, come here and our software is cheap, or do that. I just don't do that. My job is to help you understand multi-channel marketing better, lead generation, how to do social media along with maybe direct mail, the pro campaign, integration stuff. So I write papers about that, and then I talk to folks and see how I can help them. Communicate, engage in another marketing channel. So that's what it's available to do today. It's another channel that we can market for ourselves first. I say that because a lot of times we try to do this for our customers first, but I'm a fundamental guy. Let's do it at home, then we can be best practice at it, and then move along. And it's really simple to find your target audience. I'll show you that today. All right? It does require time and effort. Every time I meet someone, I say, how much time do you put in? How about your staff? Is your staff involved? I got a great example today of how some staff is used. It works best when you're consistent. In other words, you can't do it and then walk away from it. Now, I'm guilty. I can't do it all either sometimes. And I love the groups on LinkedIn. I'll talk about them. I posted something up the other day. I got 3 questions. I haven't answered it yet. Right? So every day that goes by, it's another thing I have to keep. And the other con is kind of weeding through the spam. Call it spam, maybe a bad choice of words, but the stuff that doesn't matter to me, I have to get beyond it quickly. And some people put stuff up that I follow that I might not be interested in. So there's a con. This is Miss Karen Louise. She's my VP of Sales. She would normally be with us, but she decided to go on vacation today. And she shared what she was doing at a particular event. MFSA is an association. We were in Chicago, and she said it was a great event. It was off to chat with a prospect. You might say, well, what's that going to do? Well, if you were following Karen and you wanted to understand what she's doing, she can tell you she's at this MFSA association event. I mean, she's involved, right? She's in Chicago, and she's off to chat with the prospect. I guarantee you the next day she was saying what the booth number was for Print 09. Right? So if people want to engage in that conversation, you can have 140. It may simply be an update of what you're doing, or it could be a link to some information, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second.